the big question is, Wout van Aert has said he wants to go for the green jersey. And as I said, I think he will have a mini squad around him, being Ternesen and maybe even Tej Benoot on some days. How will that work with Roglič going for the yellow jersey? We saw them balance it, not green, but Wout van Aert going for stage wins and stage 7 of the Tour de France 2020 when Wout didn't pull when they had Pogačar behind. How do you see that working, Benji? Or is it just, I think Roglič is the one that's going to have to suffer a little bit, and Wout going for green is a big goal for them.
I think we need to look at different perspectives before we start judging it. So Wout van Aert, he's not 22 anymore. He's near the peak years of his career and arguably in the peak years of his career, in my opinion. So at this point, he needs to start thinking after 2 Grand Tours where he hasn't gone for the green jersey. Last year, likely because Roglič was at the start going for yellow, that he decided this year is not it. And obviously, eventually, it ended up being 3 stage wins instead. But at some point, Wout van Aert has to say in his career, well, this is the year I go for green because I need to start thinking about myself as well. And I think that is part of the reason that this year is dedicated for him for the green jersey, is that he finally decided, okay, I have to do it. And I, at some point, need to do it. And I feel like I'm coming to a point where it's necessary to start hunting for my own goal, that green jersey as well, next to supporting Roglič. Because that's said very clearly that he wants to support Roglič as well while doing so. Now, Roglič, obviously, he'd love to have Wout van Aert as a full-on domestique, but on the other hand, he's pretty good friends with Wout van Aert. So he's like, okay, I understand that this guy has his own goals, and Roglič is probably going to be like, okay, yeah, I'm fine with you hunting some of your own goals. The green jersey is a big goal, of course, and will end up perhaps causing some trouble on a few stages. We'll talk about it in a second. And then the team is there, and they're like, okay, we've got Roglič and Wout van Aert, 2 of the biggest riders in the world. Well, what are we going to say to one of them? Wout van Aert wants to go for the green jersey, Roglič wants to go for yellow. The only way we can keep both of them happy to want to stay with the team in the current situation is by allowing them to go for their goals. And they need to find a way to balance it. I think if they say to Wout van Aert, well, no green for you this year, then Wout van Aert, if it happens not this year again, then he's going to get a bit frustrated, and then he's going to realize that he might have options to go for his own results more in other teams. And I think that's why they need to balance it in a team basis, and I think that's why they can't make the decision as a team and say, Wout van Aert, mate, nah, no green for you. They can't make that decision. And where can this lead to issues? Biggest issue for me is the cobble stage. I believe Wout van Aert should be chained to Roglič on that cobble stage 100%.
No,
but if he wants to go for green, he needs the points.
No, not doing this again. For like, how are they going to do? Listen, Roglič, it's not bad luck. Roglič crashes a lot. Roglič crashed out of Paris-Nice, crashed twice in that stage. He crashed in Dauphiné, in unrelated crash to the Bookman gravel descent crash on stage 4. I don't know why he actually crashed there. He crashed in the Vuelta because he felt like it. He crashed trying to move up in the cutter when Colbrelli body checked him in the Tour. He nearly crashed multiple times in random sprint run-ins on a highway, which no one saw except me, on the overhead shot with 3Ks to go in just random stages. And I think Wout van Aert's a pretty big deal. I think he's, correct me if I'm wrong, Benji, he's quite a well-known rider in Belgium and the Netherlands. I think he's pretty important for sponsors. And Wout van Aert going for green and state, like Mont Ventoux, Benji, people message me like, that's the greatest performance I've ever seen. I'm like, okay, like, yeah, it was pretty good. Yes, I know. But, I'm obviously a pedant. I'm like, it actually wasn't as good as you think it was. That was a really big deal. People thought Wout van Aert's tour was huge despite Roglič crashing out. What's a bigger deal in your gut reaction for their sponsors in Belgium or the Netherlands? Wout van Aert green plus 2 stage wins, or Roglič second at the Tour?
Well, second is not the goal. First is the goal.
Okay, first.
First is a much bigger deal. I can't talk anymore. Anyway, when it comes to like Wout van Aert's green, I gotta be honest, the stage wins are great and so forth. Yes, they're amazing. Ventoux victory and so forth. a stage win here and there, but that's kind of what you expect from Wout van Aert in the Tour de France when he can ride for his own. So it would have been disappointing if he didn't get a stage win or only got one stage win. So 3 is kind of what we would expect when he starts a race like that. But when it comes to the green jersey, compared to the yellow jersey, I don't care that much about the green jersey. Like, the yellow is much more important.
Not everyone. I know this is shocking news. Not everyone is like us. And I think the general public, seeing the big Belgian superstar doing well, taking the green jersey, stage wins, people don't make the distinction, it's from the break against Kenny Alessandro, who hasn't won since 2013, compared to Roglic beating a GC group up a climb. Well, like, that's significantly harder. Like, they just see the Belgian star winning stages or winning green or whatever. It's bigger, and we have to accept that reality. So I think that's just a commercial reality that Jumbo also have to accept, which Benji was describing, also the personal realities where riders of that status have to be let to do their own thing. Do you think, Benji, you think they should replicate what happened on stage 7 of the Tour 2020 where they should not do that. You think they should get Wout to pull, sacrifice the stage win if, say, Pogačar is behind?
On a cobble stage, he needs to stay with Roglič because a lot can happen on a cobble stage. On other stages, you've got other people that can take care of that. Now, if you have Benoot and Teunissen both at that race, then they could provide perhaps the cushion that Jumbo needs to say, okay, Van Aert can go up the road in the cobble stage. But I'd much rather, and I'd feel a lot safer as Roglič if Van Aert was with me than Teunissen and Benoot.
Well, I mean, Wout was with him on stage 3, and Roglič lost his wheel and he crashed. I agree with you, though. If they want to win the Tour 100%, then you make no sacrifice. Do we remember Kwiatkowski being allowed to do his thing during peak Sky years? No, you don't remember it because it never happened. Probably someone's going to pull up one example where it did happen. But at the Tour, Stannard, Rowe, Kwiatkowski, with Thomas, with Froome, with Bernal, always. And that's, if you want to win the yellow jersey, that's what you'll see. And with UAE, that is what will happen with them. But Jumbo, I'm expecting something different because that's what I think the public kind of wants.